You may have made the worst investment ever. If you didn't catch the video from Wednesday, it's up here. Make sure you check that out. And what I'm talking about is if you were sold a life insurance policy as an investment tool. If that's the case, there's multiple options for you to get out of this. One that I would not ever recommend is contacting the advisor that sold you, because oftentimes it could be an awkward conversation. If you've built a relationship with this person and, from just an ethical perspective, you feel that you really need to talk with them about it, go for it. I'm not saying don't do that. But in general, it's easier to just say, hey, I'm done with this situation. And you can actually contact, there should be a number on the statement, like the insurance company phone number. They often have a support team that you can contact, like a home office. And that's who you can deal with. And you can actually even specify and say, I do not want to speak directly with the person who sold me the contract, because sometimes that will get to where, like, well, why are you getting out of this? Well, what are you doing? Well, no, who have you been talking to? There's a lot of things that come into play there and make you feel bad and maybe end up staying with it. And, who knows? If they're a good enough salesperson, you might walk away buying something else. And so one option, though, with looking at everything and what you want to do is you really got to look at your contract and where you're at in your contract. Because if you started this, and let's just say that you started and you're in year one and you put in $36,000 and you have a net cash value of $21,506. Well, you're like, okay, well, that stinks. I can just take my money out. I take the loss. But then you've got to figure out, well, what can I make up for that? Is there a way to make up for that versus just leaving it in? And so what I would tell you is what I did here was I said, okay, well, just a simple example of that, wherever you're at in your contract and where it's projecting to go from there. Let's say that you took the first 5 years and you had $147,206 when you cashed it out. Now, to make sure that I'm addressing this, because this will be a question that you're probably thinking, well, you put in $180,000, you are going to get out $147,206. And so with that being said, that you aren't getting more than what you've paid in premiums, so there shouldn't be any tax liability. If you scroll down and you say, all right, well, you know what, I'm a bit older and I'm going to cash out now. Let's just say that you're, 64 years old and you've put in $524,000 and it's grown to $756,000. That's a bit different. There will be some tax liability there on the gains. Now, that's one where you get a little bit older and maybe, you start looking at, well, do I need the money at this point? How is my health? Is it something because let's just say that you're 70 years old, you're watching this video, your net cash value is $1 million and you're in bad health and your children are, going to be able to inherit $1,516,000. At that point, maybe you let this thing ride. And so you've really got to figure out where you are with this. So going back to what I was talking about a second ago before I distracted myself. So years 1 through 5, let's just say that you have $147,206. Well, then how do we figure out, well, is this really worth just getting out of if I were to invest that money? Well, let's just take the next 5 years, 6 through 10 here, $36,000. It's actually going to be slightly less than that. It's going to be $36,000 for 4 years. And so let's see what the break even would be on this. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up a calculator here. And so after 9 years, I'm going to say that, a compound interest calculator, I'm going to pull up 9 years. I'm going to say you have $308,680 is your cash value. Well, if we go over here, we say, all right, well, we had that $147,206. You're going to put the same $3,000 in, $36,000 a year. It's going to go for 4 years. Let's just project that you could get 6% return. Again, watch that video. That's not, hypothetical. It will all depend on your risk tolerance. I'm just kind of plugging a number in right this second to talk through this. And so with that being said, in 4 years, you will have $343,000. So if we're comparing this just in general, and if you're wanting to get out of it, $343,000 versus $308,000. Now, yes, I know what you're thinking. You're saying, well, there's no guarantee on this of me getting the 6%. Absolutely not. But it is looking at this and kind of just seeing how can you get out and start to really get ahead with your money and catch back up if you feel that you're at a big loss. So that's some options there. You could also look at another option. You've got first, you're just going to cash out. Second option is you can generally take up to 90% of your value out and then have the rest of it sitting in cash. It's basically going to potentially leave you with some sort of life insurance policy. Eventually that will all spend down because, your premiums that you're not paying in are going to basically get rid of that. So there's some things there that you could look at. Another factor that you could think through is actually just taking some of the cash out, leaving some in if you could potentially have some sort of a paid up policy if you want that. Though, oftentimes if you're taking out, $147,000, I don't know what that would be. You would have to get a quote from the life insurance company because right this second, if you've got $147,000 in year 5, your life insurance benefit is $1 million. What would it be if, let's just say that you took out $100,000? Would you have some sort of paid up policy? Is that worth it to you or not? That's something you've got to look at. And then the other option that you could do, though, again, this is one that you've got to really factor in. If I take the cash and invest it, how will this work? How much more will I have? There's actually the option to sell your life insurance policy. So you could sell it. Somebody's going to pay for your life. Make sure they don't know where you live. No, just kidding. Hopefully it wouldn't be anything like that. But, there's brokers that are out there. You could sell off your life insurance policy to them directly. They would take over the premiums, and they should be able to give you more than the cash value of your policy, because if not, then what's the point? And so looking at that, that's one that I would definitely consider at least getting a quote on. So if they're going to give you $147,206, well, if a broker's going to give you, let's just say $155,000, take the extra money and run. There's an option there. Again, making sure that it's worthwhile for you, because there's so many factors that come into play here. So it's not a one size fits all whatsoever. It depends on your scenario. It depends on your health. It depends on how much money you've already put in versus how much you can get out. A lot comes into play here. I definitely suggest talking with a fiduciary advisor who is aware of these insurance contracts. If you're looking for one, I could tell you where to find one. But thanks for watching. Be sure to check us out, jazzwealth.com. We would be happy to help you. Thanks for watching. If you want to learn more about Jazz Wealth and how we can help as fiduciary advisors, go to jazzwealth.com. If you want more educational content, be sure to check out our videos here.